6th of February 2022. This isn't financial advice. Been a little bit sick. Anyway, let's get into it. I'm just going to review some of the trades that I've got, some ones that I'm looking at. Okay, so the first one is Geo Group. That's really just been basing nicely here after a bit of a spurt. The 50 days catching up. Yeah, doing just absolutely sort of nothing wrong there at the moment. So yeah, who knows? Maybe it needs to base a bit more, or sort of just crack on from here. I have looked at adding more options, but I don't know. They don't seem quite as cheap now that now that this thing sort of moved along a bit. So I haven't actually done too much of that. So yeah, just sitting tight on those longer dated options at the moment. Next is Rig. It's been a screamer. The only regret it got here is just not having just bigger size positions across the board. So that's a real theme for me this year, which I touched on the previous video back, sort of getting after it. Slow down, fewer positions, but bigger position size. And this thing's just decided to come right out of the gate, as a number of other offshore oil drillers. So this is Diamond Offshore, for example. So yeah, the fundamentals in the space seem pretty interesting. So by no means am I an expert, but sort of been reading about the underinvestment in oil exploration and refineries. So yeah, if this whole ESG thing has maybe been a bit overcooked, so we potentially see that this thing's got like a book value of like $15 or something. So you could see like oil prices start to pick up as well. This thing could just start printing cash. So anyway, I'm up 200% on these options at the moment, which is great. Now, I'm sort of looking very extended here. I think I said it back here when I sort of sold some, but at some point this thing's got to take a breather. And the only question I've been asking myself is, I've got January 2024 options. I'll roll those to sort of further out to 2025 again to give myself plenty of time. Not sure, to tell you the truth. I'll have to make that decision at some point, I guess. But yeah, otherwise it's just actually just sitting back and doing nothing. Just going for the ride on this one at the moment. Peabody, it just continues to base. It's 50 days sort of flatlining a little bit, but I don't think anything sort of too concerning there. So the market cap on this is about $4 billion. It's going to have roughly that in cash by the end of the year. So coal's doing well. So at some point you'd expect this thing to sort of just come out of this base and really crack on. Maybe I've been a bit early. I'm slightly underwater at the moment with these options. But it's a position I definitely look to have add to if maybe this chart starts to look a bit better. Get a bit more momentum behind it. So anyway, just hanging tight on that one at the moment. Luna is one I've got a small position in, and I just didn't get filled that much. But this is more of the momentum camp. Big sales figures, good sales figures. Earnings growth, just massive. So it's a stock that definitely knows how to move. Look at that, and sort of had this Bible gap up type day here, and then sort of flatlined since then. The better Bible gap up day would have been here on actual news. Could have made a small fortune out of that, but anyway, pushed out here and just needed to take a breather at that point. Bit of a failed sort of breakout here. Got sold down to the 50-day average, like a bit of a spew there. And I bought it a few days ago right here. So let's see how we go here. Doesn't look like a particularly sort of in style sort of sector at the moment. Market cap's only $300 million, and the problem with this sort of one is that the liquidity is actually pretty poor on the options. So A, I didn't get hit with the order the full amount that I wanted, and B, exiting could be an issue. So I think what that means is actually just put some orders in just in case this thing does fly, and there's plenty of liquidity coming in. So okay, the next one is I started building a position in is VNO for NATO. So very hated sector, which is office. So this was specifically Manhattan. Um, don't get me wrong, there's everything to hate about this sector. So the contrarian part is, um, sort of telling me that maybe this is time to start building a position. So looks very well run, compounded returns at 13% per annum. This seems way below uh, NTA, which I've read to be anywhere somewhere around $80, $85. So I've started a January 2025 option position here. The upside leverage on these options, if this thing, if this sort of sector sort of comes back or even has a smell of coming back, is just enormous. So I'm going to continue to try and add to this position. I had an order in which actually got hit on Friday, so which I wasn't expecting. And that's going to show you. I think I just need to have these orders, and even if they're just cheeky orders, either to sell positions or to buy, because you never know what happens overnight. And sometimes the option prices just get a little bit weird too. So someone can just sell stuff and I'm out, and so you just get hit. So not really the ideal from a chart perspective. The 50-day thing is sort of flattened out here, but looks stage one to me. So yeah, I've got the starting position, hopefully add into it, and that's definitely one I'll be adding to if we see more sort of momentum here. Anyway, the next one is, I haven't bought this one. I've been sort of toying with it, but what I'm really trying to avoid this year is, I say, focus on the best names, and their stocks are that sort of true market leading momentum stuff, or the stuff coming out of the price of bankruptcy that's sort of starting to turn a corner. I don't think Bbwi really fits the camp on either of those. Saying that the chart looks pretty good. Chart looks actually pretty constructive, but I haven't bought it purely because of, well, I can't necessarily see the fundamental reason why this thing might absolutely fly, which I kind of really need to. So I've actually left this one alone. Now could go on to regret that, of course, but anyway, I'm just trying to really sort of focus on those stocks that have the potential to sort of seriously move. Similar note, I did a little trade in this and sold out of it straight away. Is Interactive Brokers. Now, it might have proven to be a mistake, to tell you the truth. In fact, it probably was a mistake when I look at it. So sales growth here, especially, this should be sort of leverage to the market cycle. So if we're going to have a bit of a rally, which we like we have been, you could see trading activity pick up, and all of a sudden this thing starts making a lot more money. Sort of a cup with handler there, good numbers, and I bought it and sold it quick smart. Now that's looking like a mistake at the moment. But anyway, the other one was the attractive one here was the volatility was actually pretty cheap on this. So, but I sort of put it in the camp that, well, it's so big, how much can it really move? And I might have made a mistake on that one. The other one is good old Tesla. Haven't touched it. It's so controversial, this one, on both sides of bull and bear. And Charles Harris was buying on a sort of upside reversal day. I think we actually got the bottom here. But saying that, you would have tried a number of times last year and got completely torched. So I just haven't got my head around trying to catch a falling knife type trade. The 50 days declining. Yeah, I mean, the attraction is obvious. If you sort of catch the bottom-ish on something like this, it's gone from, let's just call it 113 or so to, close to $200. It's just a gigantic move. But yeah, Mark Minervini wouldn't touch this. The momentum wasn't in place, so you sort of are trying to catch that falling knife. Could be a mistake. Not doing that type of trade. I just don't know. I haven't got it sort of my head around it, part of that process at the moment. So even sort of back to earlier in 2022, yeah, if you try to sort of catch those sort of bottoms here, that was only a fleeting sort of move. Yes, there was money to be made there, but it's really only been here when, I guess, the market did have a follow through day. There was sort of a few signs there, and just this sort of upside leverage here. I get it, but it's just not part of my plan at the moment. I have looked at trying to incorporate that, but I haven't sort of come up with some sort of systematic way to try and get into something like this. So the other thing too is, the sales are slowing. So EPS is slowing. Looks like sales are slowing too. So this one's in my head a little bit at the moment. It's, for all those sort of Twitter reasons and all that. So decided to leave it alone. I think it's probably the right thing for me, albeit plenty of other people made a lot of money on that one.